TalkTainmentRadio.com.
We give you a reason to come.
The world's greatest radio.
We give you a reason to stay.
Radio the way it should be heard.
You got the power.
The views and opinions expressed are those of the host and guests and not necessarily those of TalkTainmentRadio.com, 3MR Production, its ownership, management, or staff.
We've got the power. TalkTainmentRadio.com.
We give you a reason to come.
The world's greatest radio.
We give you a reason to stay.
Radio the way it should be heard.
You got the power.
The views and opinions expressed are those of the host and guests and not necessarily those of TalkTainmentRadio.com, 3MR Production, its ownership, management, or staff.
We've got the power.
This is The Compensatory Concept with Mr. Neely Fuller, heard exclusively on TalkTainmentRadio.com, the world's greatest radio. Radio the way it should be heard. And now, Mr. The Django Unchained, the official trailer, a new movie. It's come out that's stirring a lot of talk. The other movie that's come out that's stirring a lot of talk is Abraham Lincoln, called Lincoln. In this movie, Django is stirring a lot of talk because of, obviously the violence, the killing, but the use of the N-word. Some say it's about 150 some times that N-word is used, spoken freely by both black people in the movie and white people. And it has set off sort of a firestorm around the picture. The other one is Lincoln. In Lincoln, there was no Frederick Douglass, no Henry Highland Garnett, no Martin Delany, no participation of black people whatsoever in the liberation or the elimination of chattel slavery. The depictions, some say, look like 1954 or 1936 depictions. Django looks like black exploitation kind of movie, sweet back, all of that kind of genre. And so I want to throw it out as we get into entertainment in that one of the areas that Mr. Neely Fuller talks about. Also, this situation with the young quarterback from Washington, D.C., Robert Griffin III. The fact that he goes out there and it's obvious that something is wrong with his leg, and now he's got to have complete reconstruction. And it reminds me of the scene from The Godfather. They're animals anyway, so let them lose their souls. Now, this same scenario presented itself with the Washington Senators, the baseball team. And, I mean, not Senators, that's what they used to be called, but the Washington baseball team. Steven Strasburg, a white male athlete, they shut him down. They said, oh, you can only pitch so long. We don't care nothing about winning. We want to preserve your life and your career. Now you've got a young guy that comes out as a rookie quarterback, first year in the league, and he's got to have reconstructive surgery when that could have been prevented. And now his career, his life, everything may be destroyed. It almost has the look of something rather strange about it. It just looks strange. And so I'm going to bring in on the area of entertainment, I'm going to bring in for our first show of the year, Mr. Neely Fuller Jr., author of the Word Guide Textbook for Victims of White Supremacy. Mr. Fuller, welcome to the new year.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Mr. Fuller, entertainment. That's where we're going to go for this show. And there are three areas of entertainment that are just jumping out. And there's a fourth, because all of a sudden Roots is being reshown all over the country. Heading into Dr. King and Black History Month. Here we come with the Roots. Now, the word roots implies beginnings. So the implications is you began in slavery. Mr. Fuller, are we getting the same messages all over again?
Well, it depends on who's sending the message and for what reason and what the effect is supposed to be. And so that would be kind of difficult to decipher until you find out if the individuals who are involved believe in racism. Racism meaning white supremacy, according to the logic. And so, to the extent that a racist has anything to do with whatever is happening in any area of activity, economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, war, if a racist, meaning a white supremacist, has something to do with it, then their objective is to support the system of white supremacy. That's always the objective. They don't have any other objective. It's always that. That's the whole philosophy. That's the whole world philosophy, a universal philosophy that's in the mind of a racist, supposed to be, I guess, permanent, forever, and the only thing that is worth paying any attention to, practicing racism. Everything must be geared in all areas of activity, 24/7, wherever you are on the planet, wherever anybody is. Everything is supposed to be geared to support the philosophy and the practice of the system of white supremacy. And that, of course, would take in everything that happens in the field of entertainment. But who these racists are, no one has yet presented a list to the world, as far as I know, of all of the people who believe in the system of white supremacy. So it's a guessing situation. And the victims of racism just have to guess. Every time something comes up, your mode of thinking should be, according to what I call counter-racist logic, should be, what are they up to now? Anytime anything involves non-white people in a system of white supremacy, you assume that the racists have something to do with it. So if you're looking at a movie, if you're looking at a television program, if you're going to the circus, if you're doing anything at any time of day or night, the first thing you should think about, does the racist have anything to do with this? Someone who believes in racism, does that someone have anything to do with this, either directly or indirectly? Because if he or she does, then it's all about helping to support the system of racism. And that's the way it should be looked at, according to counter-racist logic.
And you know, it comes on the heels, of course, of the shooting. We haven't had a chance to discuss this either. The shooting of the children in Newtown, Connecticut. And the president goes on television and supposedly is weeping. But yet people have pointed out that almost 26 children in that same summer month in Chicago were shot down and killed. I've seen drive-bys here in my city of children. It's happening all over the country, yet there's no weeping. So the question becomes, what is the value of a black life? But as you look at these depictions of RG3, what happened to him, putting him out there like he's an animal anyway, let him lose his soul. Or you look at the depictions in Django of black men and black women as bucks and animals and all kinds of stuff. Then you revisit it with this Lincoln thing, where no black person at all played any role in liberation. They were just all docile and just thank you, master, thank you, master. A couple of them maybe fought in the military, but who round them up and put them there? We get the same imaging over and over and over and over again. Over again, Mr. Fuller. And yet no one asks questions about this. Why?
Well, that's the question. It's always a question. Why? Why and by whom? And for what ultimate purpose? Now, that's what should be always asked. Why, by whom, and that last question, for what ultimate purpose? In other words, why are these things happening? In order to accomplish what? Ultimately, in order to accomplish what? If you make a movie, you have a reason for making a movie. And if you have a lesson in that movie, what is the lesson? And who is supposed to learn the lesson? And how is the lesson learned supposed to be used? Because in all movies, there's a lesson there. That's what movies are made for. It's not just entertainment, it's also in the other E, in the areas of activity. Education. You're being educated when you're being entertained. Entertainment is a form of education. It all blends, it all morphs. One morphs into the other. Education also is a form of entertainment, or can be. Depends on whether or not it pleases the person who is being educated. Then it becomes entertainment. So the two kind of go together in many instances. So it comes down to what is the purpose of the entertainment or the education, and which persons are supposed to benefit. And if so, benefit how? And which persons are supposed to not benefit? And if so, not benefit how? And so these questions can be asked by anybody who is viewing what is happening, anybody who is studying what is happening. And the people who should provide the answers are the people who initiated the education or the entertainment.
Let's go back to let's look at football, which is under the area of entertainment. I don't know if you had a chance to watch this weekend the Washington Redskins play the Seattle Seahawks. Did you have a chance to see that game or any replays of it, Mr. Fuller?
Yes, I'm familiar with the events.
The events, okay. Now, what's your assessment of this? I mean, you're sitting there and you're watching this. You know that the one coach says, the head coach says, oh, he's been cleared to play. The other doctor comes back and says, oh, I ain't seen him. I didn't clear him. And now this morning, I mean, this is amazing to me. And then when you ask yourself, what is the signal? What is the signal that's being sent here, Mr. Fuller?
I don't know. It depends on what the people who said that he was ready to play or not ready to play say and what reasons they give. The Mr. Griffin, that was his name, who went out on the field, and I understand he went out on the field impaired, so someone made an assessment that he was impaired, but that he was not impaired to the extent that he shouldn't play. And then others had an opinion, well, maybe he shouldn't be out there. Some said he should, some said he shouldn't. It comes down to who made the final decision and for what reason and what the motive is. But under the system of racism, you can always suspect that to the extent that a racist had anything to do with it, that a racist would say, he's an animal, and he's an animal who's expendable and can be replaced. Now, sometimes animals are considered to be not expendable, like the horse head in The Godfather, in the man's bed. $600,000, he said.
In 1930 money.
Correct. So therefore, or at least 1940s.
1940s, yeah.
Yes, and therefore, that horse may not be expendable because it can bring in more revenue, just like any slave, just like a slave in the Roman Colosseum who is sent out there. Is this an important slave or is this an expendable slave? If it's an expendable slave, we can have that slave bring in a crowd and run its course in one season. And, of course, we got another one waiting in the wings. We'll put him out there and let him be slain. Let the horse run around the track and break his leg and for one season, and we'll haul in enough because we got another one waiting in the wings, maybe half a dozen that we've already got our eye on. So it's just horse trading. That's basically what it is. And that's slavery, formal slavery, chattel slavery as they called it, Negro slavery as they called it in the olden days, was the same thing. How valuable is the slave for the amount of crops that we have to get out this year? And someone might make the assessment, well, we really got an excellent crop in the field, and if we get this crop in, we'll make a mountain of money because the crop is really ripe and ready to go. And so we can bring in this particular slave and we can wear him out or wear her out there in that field for this one season.
Mr.
Won't
Fuller.
need them next season. Just wear them out in this one season.
Mr. Fuller, stay right there. More to come on the compensatory concept. We're going to try to cover President Obama's choice of Chuck Hagel and Brennan. Is this business as usual? We're also going to talk a little bit more about Django. We're going to talk more about Lincoln. We're going to get into some other things. Stay right there.
This is President Rock, and you can hear me Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. in the morning to 10 a.m. in the morning on the Conversating AM show. With Kahari and Mr. Brother Ed, heard exclusively on TalkTainmentRadio.com, radio the way it should be heard. Now, I'm telling you, that Kahari better start paying me some big bucks if he wants me to continue to be on Talktainment Radio, because you know, I'm the big money man. You know what I'm saying?
Senator Rock, the mic was still on.
My name's President Rock, but you still call me Senator Rock for a fool. I'm gonna send the drone, take you out. Was the mic on?
Yes, sir.
Oh, never mind. I didn't mean that. Just listen to TalkTainmentRadio.com for that rush in the morning. Radio, the way it should be heard. Oh my goodness.
The United Independent Compensatory Code System concept by Neely Fuller is considered as one of the substantial and basic books for understanding and effectively countering racism. Neely Fuller will turn upside down everything you've heard and everything you think you know about racism and how it works. Call area code 202-484-5461. 202-484-5461.
Delightful Cakes isn't just cakes for birthdays or anniversaries. Delightful Cakes is also cookies and cupcakes, pies, fresh coffee, and of course, breads. Designed and made to your order by Sandy & Company with fresh bite-sized samples always available. Mention Talktainment Radio for 10% off your total purchase. Ask for details. Delightful Cakes Bakery. Cakes for every occasion. 2171 West Dublin Granville Road, just off 315, 614-209-2471, or Sweet Wishes at delightfulcakesbakery.com.
Right Cross Performance Group presents Zig Ziglar Sales Program, January 24th, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
This is David Wright, and I want to invite you to join me and Brian Flanagan at the Ziglar Sales Program in Dayton, Ohio, January the 24th.
Hi, this is Clancy Cross. Brian is a masterful teacher who inspires, engages, and makes learning fun.
Zig Ziglar Sales Program, January 24th, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Stay tuned to the Exceptions to the Rules show for more details.
Columbus, come back home to Long Street. Stop in at 17th and Long and visit Gene Walker's Cafe on Long for the best homemade soups and desserts. Then come next door to celebrate our 4th anniversary of the Book Suite, your neighborhood bookstore, and discover all our new local authors. This is James Mason. Come out and show your support for small businesses. Call us at 252-4552. The Book Suite. Come get involved on Long Street.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
I'm Tammy Rager, host of The Now Age and numerologist to the stars. I've got your lucky numbers on Conversating the AM on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 9:11 a.m. Make sure you tune in for your lucky number. Punch in TalkTainmentRadio.com and click on Listen Live and listen for your lucky number.
We've got the power.
Justice is better than racism.
This is the compensatory concept heard exclusively on TalkTainmentRadio.com. Radio the way it should be heard, the world's greatest radio. Joining me every week at this time, of course, is Mr. Neely Fuller Jr., author of the classic definitive works, Textbook for Victims of White Supremacy, and the other work, The Word Guide. These bestsellers are available to you through Mr. Neely Fuller. And Mr. Fuller, how can I get a copy of both of these works today?
You can get them by punching into the computer the word tiny.cc// and the word Fuller in capital letters. That's the word tiny, TINY, .cc, and then a // and then the word Fuller in capital letters. And what should come up on your screen is an order form and a description, a brief description of the book, the basic book, and the additional word guide.
By the way, if you don't capture us live, and we're live today, we've started back up our live shows. We took the Christmas break, the holiday break off like everybody else, but we're live now, so spread the word. We're live again on the compensatory concept. You can go to talktainmentradio.com, and you can look at programs and then hit compensatory concept, and voila, your podcasts are there. Podcasts are simply replays of programs that have already been done. Today, we're live. We are looking at Dr. King's birthday coming up real soon, the celebration of it. Black History Month comes up next month. Now, on the heels, and then President Barack Obama's being sworn in around Dr. King Day, or either that next day, one of the two. And it's rather interesting. And at the same time that all of these things are taking place, you've got these four major and some more things coming out. You've got Lincoln that hits, where no black people in that movie are shown to have any hand primarily in their liberation. Now, at the beginning, you see a couple of black soldiers, but you see no black abolitionists. You don't see Harriet Tubman. You don't see Sojourner Truth. You don't see Frederick Douglass. You don't see Henry Highland Garnett. You don't see Martin Delany. You don't see any other of the very active people who were very strong. We don't even get Lerone Bennett's take, Forced into Glory. We don't even get an angle from that view. It's all about Mr. Lincoln and how benevolent he was. It almost smells and looks like something out of 1936. I mean, with Raymond, with Massey, with one of the Massey guys. I mean, it's amazing what we are getting in 2013. Then we get Django, which is some kind of concoction of where the N-word is used 150 times or more. Black people are made to look just literally hideous. And I've seen the movie twice, so I can speak on what I've seen. And then you've got Roots being replayed all over the country with this notion that that Roots is where you began in slavery. And then we've got this RG3 controversy. So that's where we are looking at entertainment and trying to figure out from the codified standpoint, Mr. Fuller, how should I look at all of these things? What questions? I know we went over it in the first segment. I want to revisit that. What are the most important questions I need to be asking about how these things are flowing consecutively? Mr. Fuller.
Well, you just do a blanket approach, and that is when you go to a movie theater or look at a television program and look at anything going on around you every day in the streets and all like that, you just simply ask the basic codified, I could say, counter-racist codified question, if you're serious about what's going on in the world, and that is, what are they up to now? You can just ask just that simple question. Just that, what are they up to now? They meaning whom? The people who run things, the people who dominate your affairs, the people who dominate mine, the people who dominate what I do and what I say and where I go and what I'm allowed to do and what I'm encouraged to do and what I'm enticed to do and what I'm bribed into doing and what I'm told to do and dictated to do. Things that I must do. Otherwise, I'll be in big trouble. Whom are these people? Well, in a system of white supremacy, if you're classified as non-white, you can assume that the people who dominate every move that you make are people who are classified as white and also who believe in practicing racism. Racism meaning mistreating people based on color. And these people would be called by the traditional title white supremacists. So you just always ask. If you sit down in the theater, as soon as the lights go down and it's flashing up on the screen, you can even if there are no black faces on the screen at all, no black people involved, no non-white people at all, they're still there in a system of white supremacy, because the storyline itself is going to be directly or indirectly about the system of white supremacy, because the whole world is dominated under the philosophy of the system of white supremacy. So you simply sit there and ask, okay, the credits, are beginning to present themselves, the title of the movie and whatnot. Now you have people moving around on the screen. So you ask that question, what are they up to now? They, meaning the white supremacists. How are they going to express white supremacy in this movie? Either directly or indirectly. Because it's all going to be there, and it's all going to be about white supremacy. Every bit of it, regardless of what the movie is about. Even if it's a cartoon or an ancient romantic tale.
Well, we saw what you're saying in the shootings, because in the Batman shooting, Batman's a dark creature. Here this guy comes out in dark clothing. We saw the same thing allegedly in the Newtown, Connecticut shootings. They always dress in dark clothing where they can hide themselves. This whole notion of being a sinister villain. You have to be dark in order to be this sinister villain. And even in Django, Django reminds me of Sweet Sweetback. You remember Sweet Sweetback, Mr. Fuller, when it came
Absolutely.
out? It's like a replay. It's like, Mr. Fuller, it looks like we're trapped in time or something, or either we're being subtly pushed back by all of this. I mean, it's almost as if all of these, without the cursing, for example, in Django, it's almost as if these things could play as well in the 30s and 40s and 50s when we were under the system of hardcore segregation, so-called, that form of white supremacy. I mean, what is it? I guess what I'm trying to get at, Mr. Fuller, even though I must ask questions, I have to at least start with a notion. Is there a message? I know you said that the people know what it, but if you looked at all of these things, would you at least have a flimsy, at least an idea of what message might be being sent by all of these occurrences?
Well, you always start with the assumption, and it's in the book, in everything that happens anywhere on the planet, you always start with this presumption. To the extent that a white supremacist has anything to do with this, just one white supremacist has anything to do with what you're looking at. That's anything that you're looking at going on around you every day. Then the intent is to strengthen the system of white supremacy, which is already in place. It's not trying to get in place. It's already in place. So anything that you're looking at, you make the assumption, what are they up to now? Because they're just giving strength to the system of white supremacy. And you sit there and you learn, how they're going about doing it. It's just a matter of how. You've already assumed what? They're just giving strength to the system of white supremacy. They're just adding more strength to it, to what is already in place. They're not trying to take the system apart. That's just something that you make. Now, if it looks like this is what they're doing, then you re-examine it, because that is supposed to be unique. Is this presentation that I'm looking at, is it supposed to be helping the system of white supremacy and making it stronger? Or is it supposed to be hurting the system of white supremacy?
Well, Mr. Fuller,
and that's the whole time you're looking at it. Right. This is what you're supposed to be thinking about.
Right. Now here's words that are popping up also. These strange words have been popping up since the re-election. They were kind of like on the boiler before then. We're hearing words like secession. All of a sudden now, the secession is filling the air right after the president was reelected. Then we hear words like, okay, after the shooting, Newtown, gun control. But the word that's popping out now is civil war. Civil war. Now, this word is being used at the same time of the Batman shootings, the Newtown shootings. Mr. Lincoln comes out. Django comes out. RG3 gets treated like some say like he's not a human in the way that this was dealt with. So, all of this stuff is colliding at the same time. Just cannot be accidental. it seems to be sending a whole message to people around the country that there is something brewing in the air. And I think we need to get wise. Why show a civil war? Why about Lincoln? Why show 2 Civil War movies practically? Because Django was 1858. That means that they was about ready to have the Civil War. So you've got secession talking about. You got Civil War, gun control. What's happening here, Mr. Fuller?
Well, you just make the assumption, like I said. You start in, not trying not to be what you call insanely biased, meaning you're not being reasonable, that you're being, reading into things that don't really exist there, but just try to be truthful. You always start with the truth, because the chief weapon that the white supremacists use is falsehood and deception. They're trying to deceive people and make them think that, well, this is just any kind of entertainment. It really doesn't have any impact and all like that. It really doesn't mean much and all like that. But everything that they do means a whole lot. They don't do anything unless it's going to give them strength. If the person or the persons believe in the system of white supremacy, which means mistreating people based on color, because that's what it is, then every move that they make is very surgically designed to give strength to that philosophy. So you always go in with the assumption, not so much a question as an assumption. The question would just mean how are they going about doing it, but you go in with the question of what are they up to now? In other words, like just seeing them coming or seeing somebody that you suspect is coming, you say, oh, here they come. What are they up to now? All right. Now, they're fixing to present a movie to me. All right. What are they up to now? Because it's going to be the same old stuff that they usually do, but I'm going to see what techniques they're going to use this time. That's all you look for, is just a technique, because you figure that the objective, in other words, the purpose for it, is the same. Give strength to the system of white supremacy.
Now, Lerone
throw
Bennett,
black people into confusion and disarray. Deceive them. Throw them off. Have them looking stupid or acting stupid or something like that. That's what it's all about. And so what are they up to now? Let's have a TV program. Let's show some, some bad girls or whatever. Okay, so you just look at that. Okay, who's behind this? And what is it supposed to accomplish?
Got you. I'm going to play a piece from Lerone Bennett. He wrote a book, a magnificent book called Forced into Glory. Let's take a listen to what he says about this. Lincoln.
You can't defend Abraham Lincoln without defending slavery. In this period, from 1830 to 1860, one of the greatest generations of white people ever produced in this country. They spoke out. They moved blacks on the Underground Railroad. They did everything they could do. 1830, 1840, 1850. For 30 years, Abraham Lincoln was silent. Did not lift a hand to help. I think in Lincoln, Americans see themselves giving freedom to African Americans and wiping away all the sins of all those years.
My goodness, that was Lerone Bennett. Lerone Bennett, of course, is the author before the Mayflower, Challenge of Blackness, and a host of other works that I think have been just truly dynamic. One of the best writers anywhere. Stay right there. More to come as we explore deeper into secession, Civil War, Django, Lincoln, shootings where the shooters are dressed in black. There's got to be a connection somewhere. Stay right there. More to come on the compensatory concept, heard exclusively on TalkTainmentRadio.com.
TalkTainmentRadio.com is now more listener-friendly. We've categorized the programs that air on Talktainment Radio.
Wednesday, news,
politics, and sports.
Compensatory concept. Out of sight, out of mind. Fight back. Talking sports.
Go to talktainmentradio.com and click on programs for times and podcasts. Click Listen Live for current programs being aired. We are the world's greatest radio. Radio, the way it should be heard.
Hey, can I tell you something?
Sure, what is it?
I'm in trouble just for being a bystander while someone was getting bullied.
Did you hit him or anything?
No, but I did laugh and video it.
You know, that makes you a bully too.
How?
Because it's just as painful to know that bystanders are helping the bully by laughing and taping it. As a bystander, you should either walk away or when to get help. Tear Bear says it's okay to tell.
I didn't know that watching and laughing was bullying.
You wouldn't want that to happen to you.
I guess I owe him an apology.
Yes, but remember to tell the proper authorities.
Yes, I will.
In 50 feet, turn left. Why are you driving so slowly?
After a few drinks, I'm taking it slow.
Well, you're not fooling the cop behind you.
What?
Get ready to pay in 0.1 miles.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Our lives are affected every day by innovations from the minds of African Americans. Support the United Negro College Fund, because a mind is a terrible thing to waste. Visit uncf.org or call 1-800-332-UNCF. Brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
This is President Rock, and you can hear me Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. in the morning to 10 a.m. in the morning on the Conversating AM show. With Kahari and Mr. Brother Ed, heard exclusively on TalkTainmentRadio.com, radio the way it should be heard.
Now, I'm telling you, that Kahari better start paying me some big bucks if he wants me to continue to be on Talktainment Radio, because you know, I'm the big money man. You know what I'm saying?
Senator Rock, the mic was still on.
My name's President Rock, but you still call me Senator Rock for a fool. I'm gonna send the drone, take you out. Was the mic on?
Yes, sir.
Oh, never mind. I didn't mean that. Just listen to TalkTainmentRadio.com for that rush in the morning. Radio, the way it should be heard. Oh my goodness.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Inspirational Moments.
All those who now speak of goodwill and who praise the work of such groups as the President's Commission now have the gravest responsibility to stand up and act for the social changes that are necessary to conquer racism in America. If we as a society fail, I fear that we will learn racism is a sickness unto death.
Another inspirational moment from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
I'm Tammy Rager, host of The Now Age and numerologist to the stars. I've got your lucky numbers on Conversate the AM on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 9:11 a.m. Make sure you tune in for your lucky number. Punch in TalkTainmentRadio.com and click on Listen Live and listen for your lucky number.
We've got the power.
Justice is better than racism.
This is the Compensatory Concept with Mr. Neely Fuller Jr., heard exclusively on TalkTainmentRadio.com. Radio, the way it should be heard. I'm Brother Kahari, sitting in, of course, every week with Mr. Fuller. Just wanted to let you know also that the show that I host, Conversate in the AM, is moving to a new time. We're going 5 days a week, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday morning on Conversate in the AM with Kahari and Mr. Brother Ed, heard exclusively on TalkTainmentRadio.com. And also in this new year, we've got some more big surprises. We can't reveal it just yet. We're still in negotiations with a couple of things. But we're going to give you something historical here on TalkTainmentRadio.com. Radio, the way it should be heard. Thanks for listening to Speaking to Historical. Let's get into what it is that we are dealing with. As we look at the language and the images that are being put out in front of us, we see words like secession. We see words like gun control. We see words like civil war. We're watching Lincoln, the movie, Django, the movie. We're watching what happened to RG3. Some say that to put him out there is tantamount to saying he's an animal anyway, so let him lose his soul. What comes out in The Godfather, while at the same time, for the Washington baseball team of the pitcher, Strasburg, I believe that's his name, Steven Strasburg, they saved his arm and said, look, we don't care. We don't care if it is the championship. This man is valuable to us. His life is valuable to us. And so we're going to preserve him. We're going to preserve him, and we're not going to pitch him past a certain point. That's it. We don't care if we win the championship or lose it. We're going to preserve his life. So as we look at this area of entertainment, we're looking at even the shootings that took place in Colorado at a Batman movie, dealing with somebody who dresses in dark clothes and tries to act like the Bat of the Night. And then the guy who does the shooting does the same thing. In Newtown, Connecticut, based off some video games, killing and all that stuff. Some entertainment, some say, drove him to this. We don't know all the information because all of the data related to those shootings have not come out. A lot of it's been suppressed. A lot of inconsistencies. A lot of contradictions. So, Mr. Fuller, as we look at this area of entertainment, we can kind of see that entertainment is used to kind of lull people to sleep in order to get a message, and oftentimes that message is very racist. Mr. Fuller, you want to comment?
Yes, you always assume that it's always racist, because that's what a racist does. A racist doesn't do anything else but think of ways to express racism. That is a total value system. It's not like the racist is trying to practice racism in order to accomplish something else. The whole purpose for practicing racism is racism itself. It is a value system within itself, like being royal. It's based on the royalist system, only it's put on the basis of color. Royal meaning kings and queens. I'm holier than thou. I am all of that. I am everything that matters. And all the rest of this that you see moving around out here, all of these people you see moving around out here, they're nothing. They're expendable. They're just a bunch of junk that is made to support me as a royal person on the planet and in the universe. And that's what it's really all about. So you raise the question, well, what's the value of your royalty? Royalty is the value. That's the answer. Just being royal. I am the great I am. And everybody's supposed to look up to me and worship me. Well, worship you for what? Worship me because I am the great I am. That's it. There is no other intent. I'm not after money. I'm not after oil. I'm not after more land. Because if I'm royal, everything belongs to me, including all of the people who are subject to me. And everybody who is subject to me in the system of racism, if you're talking about royalty based on racism, is classified as non-white. So, you just worship me simply because I'm here, and I'm classified as white. That's it. There is no other value, and everything that I do and everything that you do is supposed to support that. So, then, therefore, in all areas of activity, you can expect that type of behavior. If a person is going to make a movie, and that person is a racist, that person says, well, now, how is this movie going to support racism? Otherwise, what am I making it for? Because that's my only value. I don't have another value. It's got to be something that's going to support racism. So if it doesn't in some way, either directly or indirectly, support racism, I want you technicians and whatnot to go back to the drawing board and figure out how it's going to express giving strength to racism and making fun of or kicking non-white people around in some kind of way. You got to do that. Otherwise, don't bring it before me if I'm a racist.
Why is
racism is my business.
Why is it so hard for black people to see through this? Why is this so difficult? I'm even thinking about Thaddeus Stevens, the abolitionist that was portrayed in the movie Lincoln, and how he became, outside of Lincoln, became the key person that wanted to eliminate slavery, that wanted to do justice to black people. Why is it so hard for black folk to see through this?
Well, it's like I say in the very front of both of my volumes here in the United Independent Compensatory Code books, and that is, if you don't understand white supremacy, what it is and how it works, everything else that you understand will confuse you. Your entire existence will be confused. You'll be confused about everything. But you have to understand that you're in a world that's dominated by people who believe in mistreating people based on color. And if you are classified as non-white, you are the person who is eligible, who has been designated to be the person who's got to be mistreated in every area of activity. You're supposed to be the target of mistreatment, according to the white supremacist philosophy. If you're not being mistreated, then everything is out of order, because that's what their system is all about. It's not just about gaining material things and all like that. These material things are just part of these supporting instruments, these supporting tools. But the philosophy is, hey, I'm supposed to be royal. I'm classified as a white person. So therefore, as a white person, I'm supposed to be treated like royalty. Whether I'm drunk or sober, I'm royalty. I am exclusive. There's nothing like me that should be looked up to. I should be looked up to more than anything, drunk or sober, strung out on drugs, shooting up movie theaters, whatever. I'm classified as white. That's supposed to mean something. And what it's supposed to mean is that everybody who's non-white and everybody who's white, who doesn't believe in white supremacy, is a person who is not on the same page with me. And so sometimes among the white supremacists themselves, like depicted in the movie The Godfather, within another context, they have disputes among themselves, sometimes called civil wars. They'll say, we're going to have this war breaking out. We're trying to avoid this war.
Mm-hmm.
A war about what? About how we are going to handle these people that we're going to put out here in the Coliseum.
Racial
How are we
management.
going to handle the slaves? How are we going to handle the people that we have out here on the plantation?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, one person will say, well, I think we should handle them this way. I mean, I don't think we should beat them 3 times a day. I mean, because that makes them surly and whatnot, and it slows up the work that we want done. We should beat them just maybe twice a week, not 3 times a day. I mean, because that causes too much. It's bad for business. It's bad for business. Something like you hear in organized crime. It's bad for business when we do it this way.
Blood is a big expense.
Yes, blood is a big expense. Well, what do you do? Well, give them a little more watermelon. And the person says, no, I mean, that might make them think that we are losing our grip or something and we are becoming soft-hearted toward them and all like that. No, you take the hard approach. Well, I don't agree with that. So they get to arguing about it, the slave masters themselves, and they fight. And sometimes they kill each other in huge numbers. But after it's all over, they shake hands and say, okay, I'm glad that you came around to seeing it my way about how we're going to run this plantation. And so we're still brothers. We did have this dispute. We drew blood. But let's get back to business.
Under
the
new
business
management.
of what? Dominating these no good, ignorant, no potential entities that we have inadvertently called people who are classified as black. And so we'll get back to doing what we do best, dogging them around and finding out newer and better ways to dog them around and make jokes about it, endless jokes about the people that we have produced just to dog around in order to do what? In order to feel better about ourselves. After all, it makes us feel good when we do that. That's what racism is really all about. It's not about anything else.
That's interesting. I was doing some work on Thaddeus Stevens. I don't know if you're familiar with Congressman Thaddeus Stevens out of Pennsylvania. He was one of the abolitionists that had a lot to do with putting forth the 13th Amendment. He was involved in it, but he also funded the Civil War. He put the legislation together to fund the Civil War. He was the one that pushed for the radical Reconstruction, and some say he was very harsh on the South. Now, that's what you're saying. It's like if you don't do as I tell you to do, that intra-war, we saw that intra-war break out with Romney. There was the reason why he didn't get a lot of the white vote is because of the war within that population and why they saw him as a threat and how they could live with the other guy that they didn't have any, they knew that they had control of. I mean, so is this what you're talking about, those intra-wars that we don't study closely enough?
Well, they're really not wars. They're just disputes, minor disputes, really, within the big picture of things. This about the real war, because there's only one war, and that's the war between those who are subject to white supremacy and those who aren't.
Okay, well,
that's the whole world. So, but they will call it things like, this is important because of the words used. Just look at the word civil war. There's nothing civil about any war. That's a contradiction. I mean, but somebody invented that term, civil war. Say, oh, this is not a general war. This is a civil war, meaning a civilized war. Now, there's nothing in any conflict where you draw blood and kill people that's civil. That term never should have been invented by anybody. It makes no sense at all. It shouldn't be on the cover of any book or in the script in any book or the movie or whatnot. Civil war, those two words, they do not go together under any circumstance. But the white supremacists will say anything. I mean, in order to tailor language in such a way as to put ideas out here that, oh, well, a civil war is not like a real war. I mean, it's just like a little shindig. I mean, that people, like a family dispute. That's really what it is. I mean, say, yeah, but people are dying at Antietam in what they call the Civil War in this area of the world. That's one day in a place called Antietam, which is in northwest Maryland. I understand 20,000 people were killed in that one battle, the Battle of Antietam, in one day. 20,000 in just a few hours. That's a lot of people, particularly considering the time and place. That's a huge number of people in what they call a civil war. But they sometimes call it a war between brothers. Okay? Brothers had a big dispute, falling out about who's going to handle the help, how the help is going to be handled. I don't like the way you're handling the help. You're not doing it in a constructive manner that's good for the business. Just like in organized crime, which is what racism is, organized crime. I don't like the way you're handling the business. You're bad for business. So therefore, we're going to have to whack you. When you think about it within that context, you got that picture. It's the Godfather principle. That's all it is. But it's about color.
All right. Mr. Fuller, thank you. We look forward to having a lot of shows this year, a lot of things that we're going to talk about. But we dealt with this morning Django. We dealt with Lincoln. We dealt with secession. We dealt with Civil War. All the talk of gun control could lead to Civil War. We dealt with all of that. Mr. Fuller, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you for inviting me.
All right.